Hey everyone, this is Marika from Hemisphere, and today what I'm going to talk about is deadlifts for mums. So the deadlift exercise that you can do in the gym, really great fun, fabulous exercise. We can do it with kettlebells, we can do it with barbells, we can do it with all sorts of things. Huge benefits, absolutely. But what I want to talk to you guys about is just doing something a little bit different with mums. The reality is mums have to lift shit all the time. We have to lift up prams, toddlers, groceries, we're getting things in and out of cars, and most of the time it's just not in this nice linear plane. It's just not straight line, both feet symmetrical, everything in perfect alignment. So just having a think about how we can change the exercises just to make them challenge the body a little bit differently and maybe reflect the things that we do on a daily basis a little bit more realistically. So one simple thing you can do is just change it into a one arm deadlift. So we can do that with a kettlebell, for example, is just lifting it up asymmetrically, because sometimes we do just lift a heavy bag and we just do it with one arm, or we lift a toddler up with one arm. And again, I know lots of people would say, just don't do it. But you know what, when you've got a screaming child, sometimes you just have to do it. So maybe we should think about preparing mums better for those kind of situations rather than avoiding them altogether. Another one I'm going to show you is just actually using two different weights, and a big thumbs up to JP of Be Free in Perth, who showed me this one. And funnily enough, I never really considered doing asymmetrical weights before, but what I've got here is just a 6 and 12 kilo barbells, kettlebells, and what I'm going to do is just lift them up and bob them back down again, because again, lifting groceries, we don't weigh them and make sure that they are perfectly symmetrical and the same. So why not train the body to cope with uneven loads? I love that one there. Also, we don't always lift things directly in front. Sometimes we have to actually rotate, and I know people are scared of lifting in rotation, but sometimes we have to do that in life. So why wouldn't we consider trying to train for that? So what I'm actually doing is I'm using the lighter one to start with, just so that I can build up some strength through rotation. And then as I get more strong and confident with that, I'd increase the load. Okay, so that's a third variation. Another one that you can do is just change what your foot position looks like. So again, rather than having everything side by side and in a straight line, we can actually offset, have one in front of the other, because I do find just simple things like getting a child out of the car, we have to actually step in and around, and sometimes that looks a little bit awkward. It might look a little bit like this. Yep, so it might be more in that sort of fashion rather than in that direct straight line fashion. Okay, so that's number 4, so just changing the foot position. The last one I'm going to show you is a bent back deadlift, and I know some people are going to go, oh, that's so bad for you. The thing is, if you have children in a cot, as much as we would like to think, oh, okay, I'm going to keep a nice neutral spine, I'm going to hinge at the hips, I'm going to keep everything in a nice straight line and lean forward, it's sometimes actually physically impossible to do that. So what we want to do is try and actually build some resilience and build some strength in that position, so that mums and dads can actually do that more effectively and hopefully without any pain. So what you can do is, I would probably start with a lighter weight if I'm going to do it with a curved spine. I do think it's potentially a more vulnerable position. Again, we don't have a lot of research about this, but the erector spinae, so some of the long back muscles, are in a more lengthened position. Maybe it's just a little bit harder for them to work. So what I would do is just probably drop the weight down a little bit, but actually, can we do a curved spine lift up? Okay. I know some people are going to freak out over this, but I actually think it's quite important to be able to train parents to also be able to lift in that position. All right. Now, obviously, if there's pain, we don't do it, or we find a different way of doing it, and that's where you'd work really closely with a qualified coach or physiotherapist. All right. Thanks for your time. I hope you enjoyed this video. You got some comments? Post them below.